Welcome to RewardWorks from Zavez for QuickBooks. Today we're going to view a brief demonstration of the RewardWorks software while we cross-reference some QuickBooks screenshots. The entire reason that Zavez is in business is for accounts payable. We want to help with each step of the way: who takes American Express, how to get the vendors the payment information, updating your QuickBooks system, and reconciling. Where we get started is with your vendor list. You'll send us in a list of your vendors, and we'll go out and identify everyone's American Express policy. The other reason we do this is we have to have this information to create a SQL database. This is your SQL database. It's how the software knows who takes American Express, and it acts as a backup for all American Express transactions. We'll help you download and install this database. Then we'll help you client install the computers that you want to have RewardWorks on. RewardWorks is going to sit as an option on any desktop of your choice. Now, RewardWorks is looking for open invoices. So we want you to enter these invoices into QuickBooks as you always have. You're going to post these invoices the same. You'll code these invoices the same. You'll even do pay runs on the exact same days. Just right before you batch these for a check, you're going to open up the software RewardWorks. Now, you'll always open up RewardWorks first. It's RewardWorks who knows who takes American Express, not QuickBooks. So by opening RewardWorks before your check run, you're going to get all the American Express invoices out of the way. When you first open RewardWorks, it's going to automatically go into QuickBooks and pull over all the open invoices of your American Express vendors. You can immediately go up top and you can sort these invoices by due date. You can sort by the largest invoice. You can sort by invoice number or name. The software itself is very user-friendly. Now you can go over here and start selecting these invoices one by one, but you can also right-click, and that gives us the shortcut to select all the invoices for Airgas, or we can select all the invoices together. Now we've made this pop-up box come up that says we've run into our available limit. Now this is the amount that you program the software with, and it's a good example of multiple card use. Many companies are going to have more than just one American Express card. Maybe you have a travel and expense card, maybe the owner has a card in his pocket, and then you've got a card for payables. Well, this is all part of one American Express program, so you have a designated amount set aside. Maybe this month you want it to be $50,000, and next month you can change that to $150,000. The software is never pulling any information from the Internet. It's programmed by what you tell it. Now, before we post these invoices back to QuickBooks, I want to show you one more report. This is called a report on selection or an open invoice report for American Express. It's designed to show you everybody who's about to be paid, breaking down the totals and the credits. In any report you generate, you can put into PDF, Excel, or Word, and by default, we'll use Crystal Reports. But let's go ahead and post these invoices back to QuickBooks. So once we have our invoices selected, you can go down here to Pay Invoices to come to one more confirmation screen. And then you click Accept, and now you're done. The software is going to automatically go into QuickBooks. It's going to close out all of the open invoices you selected, and it's going to move those new amounts as open invoices under the American Express vendor. Now, at the same time we're doing that, we're also generating this remittance advice, and now we want to go into some screenshots to show you exactly how we're going to update QuickBooks. So we'll come back and talk about sending this letter out to your vendors in a moment. The only version of QuickBooks we are not compatible with is QuickBooks Online for security purposes. So once the software is updating your QuickBooks system, it's going to list all of the invoices you selected as paid. Now, instead of a check number, you're going to see that it was paid by credit card, and that's our American Express corporate card. It's closed out under the vendor level, but it's now an open invoice under the American Express vendor. It works exactly as if you were paying with American Express in the sense that all it's doing is moving the liability. This is called a vendor-to-vendor transfer. This will remain as an open invoice under the American Express side until you go back and cut a check for the American Express vendor. That'll close out all of the open invoices. At the same time we're doing that updating of QuickBooks, we're also generating this remittance advice. Now, this is what you need to send to your vendors. You can email this, you can fax this, and we can print this out, and you can mail it just like a check. However you see fit, as long as you send this to ABF Freight System, they will process what's called a card not present transaction, also known as a vendor-initiated payment. In this example, we have two signatures. You can have one, you can have none. If you put a fax or an email address into QuickBooks, the software can and will pull it over to display it on the payment letter, and it can even be set up to automatically generate emails for individual vendors. So however you choose to send this to Airgas, as long as you send it to Airgas, they will process this faster than if you sent them a check. Under many circumstances, this is safer than sending out your entire financial institution's information. American Express has got fraudulent protection that guarantee any amount you did not authorize, one phone call to American Express to dispute the transactions, and the money is refunded to your accounts. Now, the software is acting as a backup for all American Express transactions. Because of that SQL database, as long as you back it up, the software will never purge information. So any date range that you've used the software, you can go in here and run a payment history by vendor. If you select all vendors and summarize, what you're going to get is a report that looks a lot like your American Express statement. Now, you can take this report and put it into Excel and line it up right next to the American Express online or at work statement, and then you can reconcile just like you would with your checking account. If I uncheck Summarize, I'm going to take that same report and turn it into a closed invoice report. Open invoice reports, aging reports, detail by American Express, any report you can think of, we've got it here in the software. Now, we will remain as on-demand support and service. So anytime you have a question, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we're going to be available to answer any questions. Well, thank you very much for viewing my demonstration today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.